Hello, everybody, and happy day, or Valentine's Day, or Galentine's Day, or Castines Day. Please, whatever you're into, love somebody else. If you just love your friends or you love your cats, this day's for you.
Or you love yourself.
I know. You can't love yourself. How are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? My name is Lucy Orchard. I'm a comedian who's living in the UK. We've got Liam Bukowski, my co-host, who is originally from Malaysia. Not originally from Malaysia. I picked him up in Malaysia online, hanging around online mic nights. And then to my left, we've got the beautiful Ira Claybourne, who I have never met in person, but you are on my bucket list, baby.
Okay, you are too.
I've got to say, Ira, I love the map in the back. Are you like planning world domination? You just this you come here.
I took out the pens before we got on.
Yeah. All the codes go down. I love it.
You really need to get one of those red ticker tape things. Just sort of like pointing out your domination, where your mics.
Yeah, I can't later. I can't reveal my plans yet.
Or you should write something cryptic on it, like it's all buried here. And just like never explain it to anybody. Anybody asks, oh, I don't know what that means.
Never when I got it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it means. No idea. Don't ever go there, though. Seriously.
You do share your first name with a small. You do share your first name with a small terrorism group, but we'll move on from that.
Small terrorism.
Yeah, just a little one. You're right. And a bunch of men. Oh, which is worse?
I like how you classify the terrorist group. And how would you describe the group? Oh, we're a small terrorist group. We're just starting out. We've been going for a long time. We're just not as popular as we used to be. We just didn't keep up on the social media. It's just not trendy anymore. We'll get back.
We'll get there.
Yeah. One day.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. I'm ready to take over everywhere. Big circles on.
My friend's got a daughter actually watching Happy Birthday recently, but her name is Isis. She was named Isis way before the bad lot turned up recently. And I mean, luckily she's like, I think she's about 6. We keep denying her age, makes us feel old. You know, when you have a little baby in the group and everyone's like, that's so cute. And then you see her on social media and she's like got a mobile phone and you're like, no, that baby is bigger, which means I'm getting. So I've said, as a group collectively, we're just going to deny that she gets older. But she's got such a good sense of humor of the fact that she says she should have a sister called Irish. She is only fair.
Yep. That's it.
That'd be great.
For people that have never watched Big World Small Talk, where have you been? We are on like week 38, 39 of this shenanigans. So it's basically a bunch of comedians who are keeping safe and being socially distant, but we're trying to cover the world as much as we can, hence the big world. And we just answer some silly questions. Leon and I have a nice big bag or box of questions that are designed to just be silly. We try to avoid everything that might make you grumble. So we try to avoid politics and COVID. But like I have said as a caveat before, sometimes American politics does get into the comedy show based on the fact that they write their own jokes. Whilst we catch up, you are our first comedian that we've had on board, Ira. Boston, really? Massachusetts.
Oh.
Yeah, what's happening in Boston? Are you locked down? Are you lifted up? Are people doing outdoor gigs? Is that ridiculous to do because you're under 8 inches of snow, or what's happening over there?
I mean, it depends. I don't know. I can't speak a ton to everything here because I moved here during the this chaos, so I kind of just came here and stayed in this apartment instead of that apartment. But there's snow, and there's outdoor things happening. And so I know that there's probably some outdoor comedy, some outdoor open mics, but it's cold. Cold. So I've just been doing the Zoom stuff. I feel like I don't really want to meet anybody right now. So no new friends, no new fame. Not yet, anyway. Wish I had a more chipper report for you.
Anyway, don't have nightmares.
Keep it small talk. That's the one rule we've got.
Get the helpline up.
I only caught a glimpse of it, but you and Kelly doing your baking show. Wow, that's amazing. I'm going to have to try and get myself on there. I mean, we do chat shows, we do online mics, we do comedy specials, we've done sketch shows through the internet, but a baking show, well done. That's brilliant.
It was really cool. I know, girl, let's message her. You know that she would be more than over the moon to have you. It was fun. I set up all the thing about baking shows that sucks is that they have to use all these little dishes for all the different stuff you're preparing. Like I slop things out of the original plastic container and I don't measure. And so I had to really change the way I cooked for America and Canada and the world because I didn't want them to know I was a total slob, And so, but you have so much dishwashing waste after that. You've got to wash so many goddamn dishes when you do it that way. Who does that? What a dumb idea. It was like a whole dish load just to prepare it. It was, oh my God. Have you guys ever thought about that? I mean, I guess if it's a real cooking show, you don't have to do it. Someone else does.
I was on
That's the magic of TV. Leon, can you bake?
Yeah. Well,
are you a baker, Leon? Can you?
A little bit. So I was
say again.
So I was on the Can't Cook, Won't Cook, which is a TV show in the UK. I don't know. Probably didn't get it in America. I wouldn't have thought. It was a very British thing, and they had like somebody who can't cook and somebody who can't be asked cooking, and so I was the can't cook, and so I went on with my mate. It was really good because we went on, but we didn't know until we got there that they thought we were a gay couple. So the other people that were on, it was clearly it was the 90s. In the 90s when in the 90s they used to have gay people on, but they never used to mention it. It was that kind of thing that was in the TV. It was like, oh, and here's his friend. Now they would say here's his partner and his lover or his wife or husband or whatever. But in those days it was just here's his friend. And those two were clearly gay. And we, in the interview, I do remember we kept saying things like, oh, yeah, because we live together. And sometimes I cook for him and he cooks for me. And then when I get late from work and he makes me food, and we must have come across as clearly. And we were on the show, though, so we couldn't really deny it then. But then when we were on it, my friend kept, every time they came to him, they went, yeah, so when we get in from the pub and we watch football and I've gone out with my girlfriend, then we sit down. Heterosexual, mention everything you can mention. Because it was kind of clear what kind of show we were on when we got there. Lovely though. But yeah, I was watching that video the other day. Great fun. But yeah, no, actually, but I am actually quite a good cook. I had to lie on that show because I was like, I worked for some guy who was like a fully trained chef, and he used to teach me some stuff. So
nice.
I can do a bit.
Get you a man who can cook, ladies, or a woman,
or both,
or both. I like you.
It's 2021.
That's right.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, 7 days.
You heard it here first, guys.
8 if you're the Beatles.
If you're really hungry, get your polyamorous relationships out there. Leon, I was thinking of you this week because you know how you used to live in a little town called Fife, or a little place called Fife. Yes, there was actually a woman in the news who she is now a year's supply of free milk because she helped push a truck in the snow that was stuck. Yeah, the single mother is helping to push a truck up a hill, and they've given her free supply of, and it's like, I thought, that's 5. Scottish woman, still got a bag in her mouth, handbag over the shoulder.
She's only leaning over because she's texting at the same time. Normally it's one-handed, but she had to text, so she's leaning forward so she can tweet. I'll be 5 minutes late to the pub. Don't worry. Get with the drink, then. I'm
coming. Please, if you're watching and get involved on the chat and tell us what you're doing, whether or not you are taking part in Valentine's Day, or whether you are hiding Valentine's Day, or whether Valentine's Day is your day to watch reruns of old movies in your pajamas, eating a tub of ice cream, like whatever you're up to, let us know. We've got Ian who's messaged it, Molehill, who has said maybe she thought she was saving cows. Well, it was in cow. I can't even say it. Cowdenbeath. You probably know it better than me. I don't.
Cowdenbeath, that's it. Yeah, the name of.
So, Leon, did you do the Valentine's Day for your lady? Did you make a nice meal and buy her flowers from a service station?
No, I did all the stuff. We did it all yesterday. Because I keep only realized this year that I have, like, the last 2 or 3 years always done a show on Valentine's Day, which I realize now is quite bad. Because it came up on my news feed. This time last year you were doing a show. I was like, oh yeah, this time last year she wasn't happy about that either, was she? I realize I probably have to break this next year and maybe not do a show on Valentine's Day. Cross it off on my calendar. Do not do a show. Anyway, bless.
You are terrible. The joys of being married to a comedian.
I always get a good show on the Valentine's Day. That's the problem. There's always people wanting you to do stuff, so they can have a nice meal and a nice do.
I think
be the entertainment.
I know that this time last year, I've just during comedy, and this time last year I was doing a comedy show, and it was Valentine's Day. And I had in my original 5-minute set, I had a line where I basically say that crazy bitches are great in bed, and I look at a guy in the audience and think, you would, wouldn't you? And I just thought, it's Valentine's Day, I can't do that. You can't really make an audience member during Valentine's Day. And then I saw that my friend was going to be in the audience, and I made her sit in the front row with her boyfriend so that I could hit my boyfriend, and I knew that nobody was going to punch my teeth out.
Yes.
Nice.
Brilliant.
The show I did last year was absolutely a nightmare. So it was one of my worst shows. So I died. But what it was, it started off kind of bad because first of all it was Valentine's Day, so I was in trouble already. But the show was called Shaggers. So it's Nick Copping. So he did this show in Melbourne, London, and he wanted to add a show on in Penang. So we did this show called Shaggers, and we were in trouble at the start because they're a bit sensitive about that sort of stuff in Malaysia. Because the week before there was a massive protest. They had this show with our friends at it called Sex in Georgetown, and it got protests and got shut down. So
you broke up. Can you hear Ira? Can you hear Ira? I can't.
I can't.
Leon? This is brilliant. You're backing me up that it's not my internet that's gone, it's Leon's.
No, yours was a little bit laggy for me, but I figured it was just my connection to you guys overseas.
Oh, my internet is absolutely shocking. I may as well be doing this from under the sea.
Really?
Considering how prolific I am, considering how many online shows I do, I really don't have the internet to back this up.
How the hell do you do it?
I'm one step close, like seeing if I can do it by just holding up cards.
Are you hardwired in? Oh no, he left. He's gone.
It's all right. It's all right. The best thing is with Leon's connection is when he was in Malaysia. That was fun because sometimes like he'd have a ceiling fan on and it would make terrible interference with his microphone, but he was in denial and he wouldn't have anything to do with it. And I'm like, "It's your ceiling fan?" And he's like, "No, it's not."
Damn.
Right, he's just said his laptop has went off, but what we'll do is we'll start with the show and Leon can join in at his leisure. So let me take the first question. I put a couple of event ones in. I'm so Pokemon. I've put some event questions in. Right, so what? Right, you can't keep a good man down. Right, let's have a look.
What the hell happened? It's because I mentioned the cursed show. What was I up to? So we got the other show got banned. I'll just go straight back into it. No. The other show got banned because it was called Sex in Georgetown, and we were called Shaggers. But we thought they wouldn't know what Shaggers is. But then we were supposed to share this poster, and the poster was of two pandas having sex, and we thought they'll probably figure it out if they use that poster. So we had to use our own version of it, which was I think it was just a heart or something. But then when I did the gig, it was full, absolutely packed. I thought, this is going to be great. Packed gig. Did it to near silence. I thought, oh shit, that was an awful gig. It must have been terrible. But then after the gig, I found out, the guy said, oh yeah, a lot of people didn't speak any English. And they were asking if it was going to be in Mandarin and English. And I just said, yeah, just come along anyway. So most of them couldn't speak any English. So it kind of made sense.
I wondered if the same thing happened to me last year, and I looked back to my Instagram. Sure enough, Valentine's Day show. Woo, woo, danger.
Here we go up with a comedian.
Stop it. There should be a moratorium.
Entertain others. Right. I've pulled my first question out. So the first question is going to be, what is your earliest Valentine's Day memory? Doesn't have to be a card or anything. It just has to be your memory of Valentine's Day.
Just in memory.
I mean, I know that my aunt used to send me Valentine's Day Valentine's Day cards, and like sign them from a question mark. And I was really young. I didn't have any crushes or anything. So it was just like, who's this from? It's more about the mystery than the romance. I was like, who's this from?
Who is this? How do you know where I live?
Like, for them, my address. Like, what 6-year-old has got access to like postal records? I was kind of, I know.
Dedication.
I know it's adorable, but it was more about, I love that card. I knew it was her, but still in the back of my head thought, maybe it's not, maybe it is a Valentine's. I don't know any boys.
But they know you.
They know you.
Watching you from a distance.
They went on to know me a lot better.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I can't think early Valentine's.
I think maybe.
Can you remember the first time you bought real flowers? Wait, you remember the cards?
Yeah, like the elementary school. They bought cards for everybody, and I remember doing that maybe once, and my mom was like, "This is bullshit. We're never doing this again." So we tried it. It's too much work.
I think I remember the. Yeah, I remember when they did that thing in school where everybody gets a card because it was all very PC and stuff. So everybody makes a card, then you randomly give them out.
Yeah.
Again, it was the 80s, 90s. So it was a boy's got a card from a girl, girl's got a card from a boy.
Yeah.
That's how things were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I remember that, and it was like, oh, this person gave me a card. But I think it was always an imbalance because there was never an equal number of boys and girls. So some girl had to give extra cards out. For some reason, there was always more boys. So some girl had to give loads of cards out, which just made it look bad on her, really. She said, "Well, teacher, you're going to go. You're going to give out 6. You look the type."
We've got John.
Oh,
I remember
John.
being in school and being the only kid in class that did Valentine's. Is get in the car and buy them. And I hate the Valentine's Day.
It's a bullshit capitalist holiday anyway.
See, Valentine will be turning in his grave.
Well,
Sexist.
it all worked out well because we know that John has a wife because he uses her in his stand-up material.
Nailed it.
How does he use it? Like a magician's act. You stand here, hold this card.
I can't give another man's a joke away, but let's just say my wife told me. I don't do his voice. He's got such an amazing voice. My wife told me.
Oh God, he sounds
Leon, you get your little. You've got Guru. Guru is commenting from Malaysia. Let's have a look. We've got in my school. If you gave out cards, you gave them to everybody in the class, regardless of gender. That is way. And was that in Pakistan or Malaysia? I think that is. That's very aggressive for the other story. John has put, yeah, that's the only time my wife works this in my phone. And happy Valentine's Day to Mrs. Mulder.
That's going to turn up in court one day. And then he said, on Valentine's Day, he said this. Now, here, take this clip.
Oh, no.
Evening Judge.
Leon, get your little pink bag of questions out and let's have another go on Big Will Small Talk.
Oh, I keep going out of focus.
Backtrack.
Ooh, kisses.
John's just added, not really. She's a really hard worker. Guru was in Canada. I had to send it to everyone in Canada. John, but not really. She's a hard worker. Yeah, good.
Just to clarify, don't want to get in trouble.
Could you push it? Oh.
Okay.
There we go. You blur.
Hello. I got a new camera as well.
Yeah.
There we go. I have to lean right forward like that, and there we go. It's in focus if I'm right. All right then. So we've done that one before. So if you could change a rom-com, what would it be? So if a romantic comedy, if you could change it, I'm back in focus. If you could change a rom-com, what rom-com would you change? Because it's Valentine's Day.
Is that better for you? Okay. The first that comes to mind for me is I always got really annoyed at the ending of Friends when Rachel had to give up her perfect job because she was in a relationship with Ross. That really pissed me off. Like she got a job with a really important fashion director in Paris, but he was like, yeah, but I want to look at things, so to stay. Like the French don't have any dinosaur bones.
They don't.
That really, really pissed me off. She worked so hard to get that fashion job, and he's just like, yeah. But I mean, like the dinosaur bones, by their very nature, are not going anywhere, and they're not going anywhere.
But she didn't. You spent most of the first 3 or 4 seasons in the coffee shop. I'm not sure if you dedicated a life to fashion.
Even more important to prioritize her needs then, because like she said, the bones will be there. No way they're going anywhere.
Bones will be
Damn. No. I feel like I've blocked every single rom-com out of my mind for trauma purposes, just to never hope for them as a part of real life, you know? They're not realistic. I'll tell you that. I could just be a Grinch. You can change my name over there to the Grinch because I'm definitely, I'm in a relationship. I'm happy, but they all just make me skeptical. Those movies. It's all, we're doing the Instagram version of your life. Let's get in the nitty gritty. That's all simple. You bring home flowers and there's a fight. I'm not saying from any person. I'm just saying, realistically. Those movies I watch and comment on, so I can't remember the plot because I'm too busy.
That's modern world.
Yeah. I wish I could say I'm a hopeless romantic, but fuck The Notebook. Fuck that movie.
that was good. You could write that in the front of the notebook. Fuck this notebook.
Yeah. All the Notebooks. How many of them did they make a sequel? Or did somebody die? Exactly. Why the movie was trash. Do you remember?
I don't think that I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen The Notebook.
Exactly. I have. I definitely have. I couldn't tell you. I don't think anybody dies. That would be sad.
I think we'll get to what wrong time is. Everybody's too good looking. That's the problem. And they always go out and everyone looks perfect it's like when they go to like a bar scene or a nightclub scene, everybody in there is perfect. Nobody's sweating, nobody's hammered, nobody's like crying or fighting or anything. Like a normal nightclub you go in, there's people, it's hot, you're sweating, you're dancing, you may be drunk, or everyone's like they've just come out of a hairdresser. They're perfect. Doesn't matter what time it'll go, and now it's midnight in this club and everyone's perfect.
Immaculate.
Like, that's just ridiculous. And they're all sipping tiny little drinks. No one's shouting across at the barman or falling over or any of that stuff or getting kicked out.
Yeah.
And then what typifies me that thing is it Sleepless in, I think it's Sleepless in Seattle or the other one where they go up and they meet at the top of the Empire State Building. Meet me up at the top of the Empire State. I went to the Empire State Building and you queue for hours to get up to the top of that bastard. They should have had them in the queue going through the things where you take a photo, pretend you're on top. Go upstairs, it's really romantic. Oh, well, get in this queue for the next bit. You get in the next lift to go up, and then the next lift to go up, and the next lift to go up. And then you get to the top, and then it's jam-packed. You wouldn't be able to find anybody. Yeah. Be more realistic.
If they arranged to meet at the same time on top of the Empire State Building, they would have been in the queue together. They would have they would have been going along like that weird queuing system with like not acknowledging each other, like maybe going, all right, just like looking away, like they'll ruin it if we do now. Like you're looking on the phone.
Can I get in the lift with her? I mean, no, I'm meeting her at the top. No, I said, can I just get in the lift with her? No, I'm not jumping in the queue. just we can share the lift and then save some time.
Yeah. That would have been way better exposition for that movie.
It would have been.
Well, the other thing would be is like, it's like how if they did it realistically, it'd be like, hey, baby, do you want to be in the queue of the Empire State Building?
Yeah. But why is the Empire State Building? It's like, why would you go somewhere? Let's go up here. It's not really romantic. It's a touristy kind of spot. And then you're just going to go up there to look. You're not looking at each other. You're looking. Why would you go to a tour? Like, let's go to Disneyland and meet our first date with Mickey Mouse. You'd be like, well, really? Well, if we're going to Disneyland, we may as well go on the rides and stuff. It's not really a first date kind of thing. Very strange. If someone said that to me, I'd be going, that's a strange choice, Dan. Let's have a rethink here.
I mean,
there's no booze, there's no food, and there's nothing more romantic than trying to talk to somebody whilst your hair is going in a different direction because it's so fucking windy.
What do you like to do?
What is that?
So we're in New York, the center of cuisine in America. There's millions of restaurants, but we're up here on top of this place, just standing. Oh, see, that's it. That's Coronation Street. Everyone and EastEnders. Everyone looks, apart from EastEnders, like no one could afford those houses, but everyone looks miserable and spends the time hating each other. That's a proper rom-com. It's like Pretty Woman. So
Yeah.
Pretty Woman, where she's a prostitute, and then so when I was about whatever age, I was about 17, 18, that's when I saw Pretty Woman. That's what I thought all prostitutes were like. I thought that is what all prostitutes were like. So we went just on a school trip thing, like when we were 17 to France. And I thought, there'll be see prostitutes in Paris, we'll see prostitutes. And I thought they'd all look like Julia Roberts. And none of them did. It was very strange. Imagine that. Or I didn't mind. I said, well, I might go with a prostitute if it looks like Julia Roberts. Or even her friend was nice. But not one of them looked like that. Isn't that
Yeah.
nice? Can you imagine?
And I could just imagine if you had ordered a sex worker and they turned up and you went, no, I'm going to cancel this appointment because you don't look like Julia Roberts. I'm sure a very tall friend that comes would be like, still fucking paying.
Yeah.
No, I'd be like that. I'd take the picture of Pretty Woman and go, this is the brochure, right? This is what I booked on.
Like when you go to a hairdresser's and you say, I want to look like Rachel, you go to your local shop and be like, do you have one of these?
There's been a mistake. Can you show me where she is? I always thought it was dead harsh. In the movie, they made her not take drugs. That was like the thing on it. Oh, she doesn't take drugs and they don't take drugs. And I thought if anybody needs to take drugs, give them a bit of a break, a bit of some kind of escape. But no, we don't take drugs, so we can really experience all this. The experience of prostitution, great. Let's not take any edge off or anything. Don't drink, don't take drugs. Just in the moment.
Sure.
Nice.
Nice.
I'd like to add, Ira, bless you. It was a very polite way of sneezing. Well done. You have obviously spent hours of doing my comedy.
Way too many.
1 second. Mute myself. Sneeze.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. I've got quite a few ones in here, so I'm hoping that they come out this week. Otherwise, next week I'll be like, what? Yes, this is one I wrote. Right. What habit annoys you? Valentine's Day is the day you pretend that nothing annoys you about your partner. I used to have a housemate that constantly ate soup, and you could hear him 3 miles away. It was a definite. Like he just sat there twitching. Like I don't know how he could make soup so offensive. Like it's just soup. He's going to end up in a relationship with a man or a woman or somebody that identifies as minor, and they're going to.
Oh, that's like people who sit. People can do it with just. Does that trigger you? Are you upset?
Flashbacks.
I'm triggered.
That's when she burnt the cat down.
Trigger warning.
I have a friend who's a sommelier, those wine motherfuckers, and she does that with her. She'll taste a new one and aerate it in her mouth.
I love your description of a sommelier, the wine motherfucker. Is that what you said in a restaurant? Hey, bring the wine motherfucker over.
Bring it.
I've seen the food motherfucker. I want the wine motherfucker.
Bring now. There's only one here, right?
Come over, you. It's a romantic meal, this. Come here. What's a good wine, motherfucker?
I mean, a lot of people look down on normal wine drinkers because you just pour it into a bucket and you glug it back and you do a bottle in 2 glasses. And they're just like, no, what you need to do is you need to smell it and then you need to go and make the weirdest face and then swill it round and then spit the fucking thing out. Like, what? No, No, you pay that in your mouth. Spit in a nice restaurant. Why are you spitting in a nice restaurant?
That's offensive.
See, anyone starts doing that, I'm like, how much does this wine cost? This wine is going to cost too much.
Yeah.
This is costing too much.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't need to taste it. Is it free? Is it included with the meal? Then I don't want it.
Right. Better be tasty.
I'm like, even if I got rich, like super rich, and people were giving you wine for like 300, 400 quid, I'd be like,
I want to drink it.
Yeah, I'll keep it and sell it. I'll sell it. Give me the bottle. I'll take it home.
Yeah.
Get 10
I'm not
bottles of wine.
spitting it out. That's all I know. I am not spitting that shit out. It's going somewhere. I'm with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. This is really terrible, and I know I'm constantly riding you for your cultural background. Pretty certain this is kind of racism, but like for the last couple of weeks, when you talk about saving money or being tight, you sound really Scottish. But when you talk about robbing people, you go really Italian. Your accent changes.
You gotta fit in. You gotta fit in.
Oh, I think if I got like £300, I'd sell it. I would.
Sell it. You gotta flip back. You gotta flip back into your genetics. Just flip in. You see. No Scottish person's paying 300 for wine.
Oh, I'd sell that, I would. But it's you that does it. It's not. I'm not. You have to do it for me to
get angry. You see. Oh. You can just imagine going. You can see in Scotland they're very judgmental. I remember I went into a pub in Glasgow, and I asked for a pint of Foster's, and they nearly killed the barman. He was laughing his head off because it's like an Australian beer thing, and all they drink is like heavy or mild or something. And I said a pint of Foster's, and he just burst out laughing. He's like, "Yeah, you're from the south, are you?" But that was obviously in a Scottish accent.
I don't understand that because Foster's and Tennants are the same alcohol standards. So why you wouldn't have Tennants? I refer in Scotland there is a lager that's called Tennants, and I like to drink Tennants when I'm in Scotland because it makes like I'm on holiday.
I love it. I've got a Tennants. I always wonder. I always want to do a bit about drinks. I've never actually got into this show in my like gigs yet, but they always have like working class drinks always sound terrible, like bitter. Who names a drink bitter? That sounds miserable. Stout, short. Here, do you want a short, fat drink? Here you go. Tennants, a drink named after not having your own home. You can't afford your own house. Let's name a drink after it. It's just like he went out of the way to make the most miserable names for poor people's drinks. Whereas if you get like posh people's drinks, it's like Sex on the Beach and a Manhattan. They're all aspirational. Hey, these are fantastic. Manhattan. We named it after the place because it's so trendy, and you drink it and you feel like you're in Manhattan. And if you drink bitter, you'll feel depressed.
We've had a comment off one of our long-standing fans who is a man of many names. Sometimes he's Hugh Janus. Colin A. Mayhew, the original. And he has said that the habit that he hates the most is he hates himself for constantly rearranging or scratching his genitals in public. Which ultimately is something you can put a stop to. Say that again?
It's got to be done sometimes. Things get tied up. Call yourself medical injury if you don't sort it out. Well, it's God's fault. Why would he have things dangling off you like that? What a bad design that is. Just dangling there. Just put it away somewhere. The body's big enough. Tuck it away somewhere neat. Just hanging off like with an afterthought.
God made.
I forgot to put this thing on. Stick that on there, down there somewhere. Let it just dangle. I haven't got time to figure out where it can go inside the body.
You never said, Leon, what is the habit that you hate?
I don't know. I'm kind of relaxed. That all being said, like you mean like a date habit or just any habit?
Any habit, any person ever.
Just it's for me. It's social media. When people put stuff up that just irritates me. Just and I get too sensitive about it as well. And then the worst is someone puts something up and I'll go, that irritates me, and then I should just move on with my life. But then when I start commenting, they comment back, and then I realize I've lost like an hour on some kind of Twitter fight with some idiot. Who really I could have just passed the tweet on and just let it go. It didn't really going to change my life. It annoyed me mildly. And then like you try and delete loads of these people, but then somehow they just sort of keep coming back or come from somewhere else. You're like, oh, how is this happening? That annoys me. And I annoy myself for reacting to that in the first place. That and the clickbait stuff where you know it's clickbait. You're like, oh, such and such, look at this actress now. And you go, oh, I wonder what she's doing now. And then you look at it and she's doing fine. And you're like, you bastard. Because they always make it sound like she's doing terrible. And then you look and you go, actually, she's doing all right. Look at this actress now, 20 years later. And you go, I wonder what she looks like. And then she'll look fine. And you're like, oh, right. She looks a little bit older. Well, 20 years later, of course she looks a little bit older. Who wouldn't?
I always thought yeah. Imagine what this woman from Baywatch looks right now. And it's like, she looks like she did, but 20 years later. It's just, it really is a case of she just looks 20 years older. But it took, and because you can only put, they only put one sentence, and then you got to scroll a whole page to find the next button.
Right.
And you know, and the worst thing is, you know you're getting played. You're getting played, and you know you're getting played, and you're still going on. You know it. You're like, I know that this is not going to be a payoff that I'm going to get at the end. It's going to be rubbish, but I'm still going to go. I've started.
All the way.
And anything could be at the end of this thread.
It's like the one time in your life where you're like, everyone says I don't complete anything. I'm always too flaky. I never see a project through to the end. Clickbait is the only time I show commitment.
I'm like that with TV shows. You know when the TV show has gone well past its best and you're still watching it, you're like, oh, and you're like, I shouldn't. It's not good anymore. They've all left. Everyone's died. It's like The Walking Dead. Like everyone who's good is dead or just boring the hell out of me. And you're like, I'm not going to watch any more of these. Yeah, and then you go, well, maybe I'll watch one. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe they'll all come back from the dead because it's but not be dead. And it'll be, no.
Cool.
And you just like, I'll just keep going now. And I think someone said, I can't remember, I think it might be a comedian or something, that you go from being like a fan to a supporter in that you don't really enjoy it anymore, but you've sunk it all in and you're just going to see it to the bitter end till somebody takes it out of your control and cancels the fucking thing for you and said, we're not watching it anymore. We're canceling it. You need to stop watching it. It's over. Yeah, we're just, even if it doesn't make sense how it ends, fuck it. It's got to stop.
Now it stops here.
You lot keep watching it, like dragging on. But you know it's shit. You're still watching. We need to stop it. Even the actors are sitting there going, oh, I wish I could stop, but you keep giving me money.
Exactly.
I want to go and do other things. I want to go and do Shakespeare and shit and other TV shows. I keep coming back, and you keep wanting me to come back. Nobody cares anymore. Somebody put it out of the misery.
Okay. Do you have, like, for you said Walking Dead, Ira, do you have a show that went like that? For me, it was White Collar. And I loved it, and it was brilliant, and then it went shit, and I stopped. And then during lockdown, when I had nothing else to watch, I went back to the start of White Collar. Started when I thought, didn't I give this up? And I saw it through to the end, and I'm never getting that fucking time back. Never. Twice.
Yeah. I think of Weeds. I think of Breaking Bad. I think of Lost. I think of Battlestar Galactica. They went off the rails with some of this shit. I'm sorry. I really think so. And I watched every lick of it.
Yeah. Lost is that. Yeah, Lost did it. Because Lost, you were thinking, but with Lost, it was because it was a bit of a mystery. You thought at the end, this is going to be good.
All resolved.
It's all going to tie it all together.
Yep.
And it'll all make sense. And then we'll realize why they couldn't have babies and stuff and all that stuff. And then in the end, they just went, and they're all in heaven, they're all dead. And you're like, that doesn't explain anything.
No.
That doesn't explain.
I was so pissed. Why did I waste all that time?
What is the unit initiative at all? In heaven, initiative in heaven, a button that you have to press for heaven.
I'll never get any of that time back. The writers really gave up.
Yeah. And then they went back in time, and
like
then they all went
publicly as well. They even acknowledged it.
We don't know what's going on. I think they get to that stage when they go like, I don't know how this is going to end. We just need to. We'll say it's heaven. Fuck it. or I like it when they just start killing everybody off. Just fucking kill them all off.
Lost is one of the few times where I am so proud of. I started like 3 episodes, and by the 3rd episode, it was in the papers that they had just signed syndicated for a 2nd season, and I was like, "What? So they're going to be fucking Lost for 2 seasons?" Like, canned it. I canned it after 3 episodes. So, well, this will be one of those 1 season. They were lost, then they were found.
Right.
But to find out that they weren't going to be found, I
still lost.
And all my friends, they were in. They were stuck. And then they were like, there's a polar bear on the desert, and they got to press 5 minutes and 23. And I'm just sat there in the background with my free time and my open going.
That's right.
I always do that thing now where I don't watch the start, because like you can get that thing where you like if the first season's good and the second season is shit, I don't want to invest in the first series, so I know at least the second and third series is okay. Then I'll commit. But then you're on a knife edge because you've got to try and get in before any of the people in the cast is declared or found to be a sex offender. You're on that knife edge because you can't. If you'd started the series and then they were found to be a sex offender, you could carry on because they usually write the sex offender out, but you can't start it and go back with the sex offender, knowing he's a sex offender or she's a sex offender, and then start watching it because so there's a fine line between but you can't start if it's going to be shit or cancelled after 1 series. Yeah. It's a fine line, very fine line. But that would annoy me. Imagine if one person in the set was like a sex offender, and then you've done like 4 or 5 seasons, and then they're like, well, such and such was doing this. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
nothing you can do.
Didn't they have to do that with Kevin Spacey? Didn't they have to do that with Kevin Spacey?
Yeah. So now I wouldn't mind watching that, but he got arrested when I was thought, I go watch that. But no, I can't now because you can't watch him as a sex offender. Even though now, if I had have watched it, I could have watched it now because he's out of it. Missed the shot. Can't go back. And you can't start it after he's left because
can't go back.
Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf. I used to love Red 560. Red Dwarf is great.
I don't know whether did it make it to America, Ira? Red Dwarf, a spaceship, and it was
they made an American version.
Misfit bad pilot.
They made the American version. It died.
I think you'd actually.
I'll look it up.
But the
American version.
But I have to say the remake of Red Dwarf actually was funny. And it's very often for them to get back together, original crew, like is it a reboot? I think they call it a reboot, not a remake, because it was all the same cast, but they redid it. And I watched a couple of episodes of it, and I was like, they were funny. I wasn't expecting funny. Well done, everybody.
The problem was it was season 5, and season 6 went to hell because it was like the joke was there was only one guy, and then there was only human left. And then they brought back his love interest, and then they brought back the rest of the crew, and then they had loads of money for special effects. Like half the joke was like all the special effects were just crap, and then they had an actual budget, and they went, "Woo!" They went crazy. They went, "Oh, look at this! We'll have outside shots of spaceships and stuff, and woo!" And nothing looked like rubber aliens and stuff. And it lost its charm a bit.
Yeah, I stopped watching it. Was it Kabowski? I think her name was. Was it Buki? I know that there was definitely a name like yours.
Kowalski. Kolchansky. Yeah, Kolchansky. Who was played better by Claire Grogan originally, and then they replaced her by some other woman who just killed everything she was in.
Killed all the funny.
She did.
Hang on. That, believe it or not, was a question about habits, wasn't it? Was that my question about habits?
Yeah. Oh, is it my one now then?
Yeah, it was. I absolutely love how many tangents we can get through in one show. It is really impressive. It to work out what question we were answering and who asked it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm going so blurry tonight.
You've got a little bit like first season.
If you could, this is related to this. If you could move your sexual organs somewhere else on the body, where would you move them to? Because they're not in an ideal spot down by the place that you get rid of all your bodily fluids from. So where would you move them to a more convenient place? So I would avoid the hands because you don't want to present your sexual organs to somebody with your shaking hands.
Right.
And you probably don't want them too far away from access, but you don't want them out and about. So where do you all think?
This is actually a really good question.
You could under your arm because you could cover it up, and then when it needs to be out and about, there you go. Yeah. Nice height as well. You don't have to bend over or anything.
Yeah. Maybe just go ahead and use these for everything.
That could be good. Put it all into one place. Just centralize the facilities.
Yeah.
Stop shop.
The sex box.
Sex box. I like it. I'm on board. Sex box. This high.
I'm obsessed with the fact that men truck drivers can just follow over whenever they want. And sort of like go up to the truck and turn their back and have a wee, and that's it, that they're dealt with. And I keep telling them that the only reason that there are more male truck drivers than women is because I have to actually cuff the road and find somebody somewhere with a toilet in order to use the bathroom. Because when I started off, I'd wee. I'd probably buy have a wee, but now I'm a bit older, a bit more cynical in life, and I'm like, I'm not dropping my trousers and what I used to call drip drying for anyone. I'm like, I'm coming off the road and I am finding a toilet. I'm using soap and warm water because there's a pandemic on. And if the sex organs and the wee organs are together, just amazing. So it needs to be somewhere to back the argument. There's no point moving them to somewhere that's also stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe like here, but where you just like lift your just lift
I like that.
Whip the shirt up, back there.
Yeah. Options to be. We all agree they're too low down. I think we're all agreeing that. So they've got to go up top end. Somewhere that's good reaching height, I suppose, maybe, isn't it? Yeah.
We can put
totally need to Josh Groban it. Hang on. I forgot to ask Ira. So we are coming to the end of the show where we ask you the guest question. But do you have a particular social media platform that you would like to promote, be it your Insta or your YouTube or your Facebook? What would you like to put out on the screen for you, my love?
I think probably my Instagram. It's ira.claybourne. Yeah, that would be wonderful. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest.
I think we're going to have sex box as our hashtag. with new added sex box.
I think we've got traction there. I think we can make a market.
I think it's a winner. I'm drawing diagrams already. I'm going to go on Dragon's Den.
Tom Jones is already rewriting sex bomb.
Sex box forever.
Sex box forever. No.
could work. It just needs new plumbing. You could just redo the plumbing.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you got boob in the middle bit, I could just sort of unzip my t-shirt, have a wee, zip it back up.
That's right.
And it's easier on your neck, Ira. You wouldn't have to bend down so far.
Yeah.
Although Brooke could do whilst I was driving.
There you go. Out the window. Beep beep. Watch out, pedestrians.
Everybody's
so instead of a 69, would it just be instead of a 69, would it just be like a 1-1?
A lot easier. There's a height difference. Maybe there should be a height adjustment, maybe. Although I suppose everyone's different heights, aren't they?
All right, Brooke Barcel already boycotted this whole idea of material.
You might like it because it's a sex box. We got a 69 chance. 69%. Success.
69% chance. Right, so Ira Claybourne, our guest of this week's Small Talk, Big World Small Talk, available on Insta, ira.claybourne. We ask every single guest same question. You need to answer this, but we will expect to see your workings, and there is no wrong answer. So, Ira, my darling, beautiful woman, what would you choose between a magic carpet or a flying horse? Discuss.
Talk amongst yourselves. I feel like because I'm a lesbian, I have to say magic carpet because carpet munchers. Up dive, magic carpet ride. I can show you the world. You know, I think
that can be confusing. You could say to someone, "Do you want to have a go on my magic carpet?" And they're like, they think they're on a promise, and they're jumping on a real carpet. Like, oh, that's not what I thought you meant at all. I'm impressed. I'm just a little bit disappointed.
Right. Yeah, it's underwhelmed some, but it's okay. I will stick with my answer though.
So Ira's rolling out the carpet, and the other person's under their sex box.
Exactly right. Yeah, correct.
You could scare the magic. If the magic carpet goes, so what are these? You go, oh, they're just some rug munchers. He'd be terrified. They're going to try to eat you.
Yes. No, I'm there.
You're there to calm them down. Yeah. So that's not what it means. You just have to, come on, learn the lingo. You're going to have to learn this.
Yep.
The most well-behaved magic carpet. Did you hear what she did to the last one?
They call her the rug muncher. Shit. Getting out of here, then. When the window's open, I'm off.
Have to get Stanley Steamer up in this shit. The rug doctor.
Oh, thank you. The rug doctor. Oh, thank you so much, Ira, for being an amazing guest and straight from doing another show as well. So thank you very, very much. No doubt we will all see each other online again. But please, if you are watching this out there, make sure that you like us on Facebook, which is Big World Small Talk. You can find it on Twitter, which is Big World Comedy. Tell your friends, share this link. If you can't, watch it live, make sure you tell people about it, and you can catch up on any of the if you're watching this, then you can again, same link. This time we're going to have JJ Hazard. Where's he from?
Oh, JJ Hazard. He's from England, but he was in Indonesia up until COVID crisis. So England and Indonesia.
Another interloper. Wow. Okie dokie. All right. Well, this is another episode of Big Will Small Talk. Thank you so much. You've all been a delight. Ira, you've been amazing. And basically, happy Valentine's Day, Palentine's Day, Galentine's Day, Valentine's Day. Bye, everyone.